Wow.
Welcome, everyone. It's Tuesday night, 7 p.m. That is Outlawed Live Time. Ron Stone here with Mike Idle. How's it going, Mike?
Doing excellent, Ron. Boy, the weather's getting hot outside, and the outlaw action is getting just as hot. We've got leaders, we've got points to discover, we've got a bunch of pulls, and things are starting to take shape early, and, it's going to be a long, hot, fun season.
Mike, are you roughing it right now? Where are you?
I am if there's one thing that we as teachers do in my family, it's take advantage of the summer vacation. We love to camp. We love to go places. I'm down in Eureka, Missouri. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm about 10 minutes straight east of the Bigfoot 4-Wheel Drive Incorporated, the Bigfoot monster truck headquarters. We went over there today and took a shop tour of
I can imagine that you would do that.
I got to sit inside Bigfoot 14. It's supposed to be, I told my wife, I said, let's take the kids and go let them see Bigfoot. And they said, do the boys want to sit in it? And we let the boys sit in it. And they said, Dad, you want to sit in it too? And I go, abso-freaking-lutely. So, it was a great time. It was really cool.
The wife took all 3 kids, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Learn something new in the monster truck world.
Yeah, do tell.
Wedge motors, 871 superchargers. I got to talking to the guy. I said, okay, you've got a big block Chevy in there with an 871 supercharger. I said, I know someone on our pulling circuit who's a fan of those. He's got about 3 times as many, but Bigfoot and Sweet Pain powered by the exact same setup out there.
Wait a minute. Bigfoot, big block Chevy. Wait, what?
Okay. Oop. Maybe I was not supposed to go public with that, but the new one does not have a Ford in it. The rest of them did. Goodness. The rest of them did, but the new one, Chevrolet, wedge motor, 871 supercharger on there. I said, hey, you put 3 more on it and you can come outlaw pulling, buddy.
Yeah, longevity is a thing,
Yep.
So, no, I'm kidding. But back in the day, Bigfoot, he was a Ford guy, everything was Ford. So big show tonight. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. We got some comments here. We need to get on top of those. Ben Beller out of Howard, Kansas says, evening, watching from the combine. Man, this guy's always working. Robert Miner, checking in from Niobrara, Nebraska. Cole Lundahl, watching from Wakefield, Nebraska. And Mark Willis from Carrollton, Missouri. Of course, we know who's from Carrollton, Missouri. Corey Schluter, Chuck Schluter. Yep. Clem Kluter, all from Carrollton, Missouri. So we know whose fans they are of. But we have a big show tonight. We're going to bring on the promoters from Whitewright, Texas. We're also going to bring on a promoter from Manila, Iowa. These are pulls coming up this weekend, as well as our spotlight hero tonight, the Ruwe crew. Roger Ruwe is going to be in When the Smoke Clears tonight. I already got Roger lined up.
Yep, lots of good things going on in the outlaw world. 3 pulls over this past weekend. 2 pulls coming up, 3 sessions. Ron, it's full time, man.
You're going north, I'm going south, buddy.
Yep, absolutely. Good little show up there in Manila, Iowa. Looking forward to it on Saturday night. And then the big one of those cornerstone pulls, when you think of the Tomas and you think of the Rock Valleys of the world, you got to throw Whitewright right there in with it. It's become a legacy pull at this point, and it's hanging on. We thought we were going somewhere else. We thought we were going to Lindsay, but nope, we're going to Whitewright. That's got to be a special feeling heading back down there again.
Yeah, our hats off to the guys there, Preston Collins and Cody Lee and Doug Voth for trying to keep this tradition alive in Whitewright down there. It's not been an easy road, Mike. It hasn't, and we were supposed to be the weekend before this past weekend. We were supposed to be in Lindsay, Texas. And when we realized Whitewright wasn't going to happen, Preston and Cody called me and they're like, hey, let's move the Lindsay show to Whitewright, keep Whitewright going. And they're trying to procure some property there within the, within a 20-mile radius or so of Whitewright, so they can keep this tradition going for Whitewright. There's been a little scuttlebutt about how long has it been going on. Is it 49th or 50th? You know what? It doesn't matter. It's Whitewright is a legendary pool. It is a destination pool, and we want to keep it going. And these guys are trying to keep it going, and hats off to them. And we're going to have them on tonight. So going to be a big show. Going to be a big show. So, Mike, let's talk about this past weekend.
I was just getting ready to say, Ron, what were your takeaways? We split the band up a little bit, but then we got back together on Saturday. You know, Saturday night was fun. Folks, you might not know this, but every great once in a while, Ron and myself and a couple other members of the Outlaws, we have kind of a powwow over by the sled after the sun sets and the show was concluded. First time we really got to do that this season. That was fun. You know, we were two different places. We're at the same place. What stood out to you, you know, from all three sessions this weekend?
Wow. We've got a young gun that's in the lead in the modified class in points.
Yeah.
We had an Illinois guy that took second on Friday night in Illinois, first on Saturday night in Donaldson, Iowa. Things are just a little different this year. The normals, except for the Bullwhip Motorsports team, you know, they're in a two-wheel drive. They're right up there where they want to be. But you know, in modifieds, light limited pros, everything a little bit different starting out here as far as who's leading the points.
It does feel, you know, I was talking about this today with some friends. It feels like pulling is kind of experiencing a transitional phase, and it feels like what's happening right now here with the Outlaws is one of the seismic shifts that's driving the sport as a whole. Now, obviously, there's other big things happening. We saw this in Farley. You know, it is what it is. But it's interesting to watch these newer pullers and to watch this class that we've been a big believer in for a long time really expand. I mean, what we have for mods in both nights, 15, 16, you know, 7,400-pound modifieds, and you're seeing a good collection. Young guns, like you talk about, Case and Petch picks up his first win going against the legends in our group, but legends from everywhere, too, when you've got the Bollingers and the Bargies showing up and hanging out with us. Pulling, you know, it's transitioning. Something is happening right now, and it feels like the Outlaws have a lot to do with that.
Yeah, it's kind of odd, almost ironic that our biggest classes over the weekend was the 7,400-pound modified class.
Sure. Sure.
You know, wow. And we didn't even have everything that we had to offer that on a normal basis. You know, we didn't have Doug Voth. We didn't have the Barons come out with their twin turbines. It's like, wow, if all of our modifieds would have came out.
Texas Bullwhip Motorsports didn't even bring their whole bucket of toys. You know,
Right.
They've still got one at home that hasn't been out yet this year.
There was 3, 4, 5 tractors that normally could have been there, would have been there. We'd have been in that 20 tractor range, which is crazy. But yeah, great weekend, great promoters, great venues, great tracks. We had a good weekend.
Yeah, I have a non-points, you know, kind of a lighter thing that I noticed this weekend. Did you pick up on it? Kind of inconsequential, but it makes you scratch your head. Super modified two-wheel drive truck class, Richard Morris. Did you see what he did to his truck? Did you notice he has relocated where
right
his
off the
headers?
bat. Yeah, the headers.
Yeah, so that is an intriguing look, and he was always known for, you know, the long zoomy headers as you announced them.
Long. Yeah.
It's you know, I'd like to talk to him. Are we trying to create more downforce over top that front axle? I mean, it is a very unique and different look compared to what that truck has typically been campaigned as.
I think maybe he's just playing around a little bit. You know, they're not as long. They don't go down as far and then back up, you know, down and up. But yeah, they were a little bit different. They were like out and up.
They went out under the wheel well, cup under, like the old school four-wheel drive, modified four-wheel drives from the 70s and 80s coming out of the wheel well.
But usually those were in a collector.
Like sure. Absolutely.
You know, I know exactly what you're talking about. You know, generally a carbureted or ejected engine will benefit from a collector and headers, where a supercharger, it doesn't matter as much. But yeah, it was interesting to see. I saw that immediately on Saturday night. I didn't see it on Friday night. I saw it on Saturday. Those headers that just went straight out and then up. And it was like, That's a little different. It still has kind of the same sound, but
Definitely,
those long
definitely.
primaries. But yeah, yeah, it's cool to see the points, the points ladder shaken up a little bit. You know, light limited pro, the gear is kind of leading
Yeah.
us off there. Just the top 5 in that light limited pro in itself is cool to see. Things are shaking up here. So, yeah, looking forward to Whitewright and Manila to see what pans out after the weekend. And we get a weekend off, Mike. Then, of course, wow.
The big one.
The dam breaks. We got Concord, Ottawa, 3 nights of Rock Valley all in 1 week. And then we're into fair season, and it's Katie bar the door. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And this season has started off with a bang. Otherwise, you know, the Friday night at Ravenna, we got rained out. You know, since then, it's been all excitement. So let's get the guys on from Texas, Whitewright, Texas. Before we do that, I just want to go through some of these comments. Andrew Sprock had a couple of hooks this weekend, finishing in the top 5 on Saturday night. Good job, Andrew. The Sprock Farms team was pretty cool. Dick Link Sport checking in from Inwood, Iowa. Go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to say that, yeah, I love seeing the Sprocks come out and play with us. They're a team that I feel doesn't get a lot of hype on the internet. You know, they're not one of those big social media, always all over YouTube, but they're one that when they're at the track, you can never sleep on them. I mean, they feel like they're those guys. They're going to put one of those 2 trucks towards the top 5 almost every single time. You know, I'd like to see them in Louisville. I know they campaigned pretty hard for that in this past year. I feel that they have the type of resume that could get them there at some point.
Amanda Stern checking in, said, really enjoyed the poll in Cambridge, Illinois. Hope to see you back next year. Amanda, you know what? I think we went over pretty well, and there's talk maybe about doing 2 nights next year. We'll see. Thursday, Friday, that's a possibility. So
the seismic shift, Ron, I can feel it. There's something big is going on in pulling, and the Outlaws have a lot to do with it right now.
Yeah. AJ says it was a great having you guys in Illinois. AJ, we had a blast. Just glad that the rain did not cancel everything out there Friday night, because it very well could have. Kudos to the guys on the track crew on Friday for not getting overly ambitious and opening that up Thursday or Friday morning before the rain started, because the fact that it was sealed and the rain didn't seep in there as much meant everything Friday night for the poll. So Kevin Miller, is Wayne Longnecker going to be coming out yet? He's out. He's like number 6 in the points right now, and it's still early in the season, and you cannot count that guy out. He is a veteran, a wily veteran, I should say, that he'll quietly move right up there in the points. He'll stick around in the top 5 all season long, I promise you. Amelia Charlotte, evening from Michigan. Evening. Randy Barker here listening. Tell us where you're watching from. Trevor Humphreys watching from North Texas, ready for Whitewright. Heck yeah. Hope you got your tickets, Trevor. Cole Lundahl. Pro Stock Football. Yes, it was stacked on Friday. What'd you have, Mike? Like 17 or 18?
17 was our number, and man, that's another class. I'll go on the same tangent like I did with the Sprocks. Pro Stock 4-wheel drive doesn't get a ton of glitz and glamour, you know, in the world of social media or just in pulling in general. That's a really good class, folks. And boy, they're coming out this year, Ron. I mean, usually that 17 to 20, you'd see that at Wisner, you'd see that at Rock Valley. We're 2 pulls in with that class, and it's been consistent with both. There's not a slouch in it, but the cream is rising very quickly and very early in that class. I only have one question, and I try to be as unbiased as I can, but what's it going to take to get around Keith Hammonds? I mean, he's 7 of the past 8 points championships, 2 for 2 on victories this year. He's building a dynasty in that class right now. It's fun to watch because it doesn't matter the type of track. He figures out a way to get a hold of it, and he's just tough to beat, you know.
Yeah, he is. He is on his A game every single hook. Yeah. He really is. It's like, everybody just got to stay on your A game out there, you know.
Yep.
And even when the track is muddy and it's a mud hole and you think, I don't care. wait till they get it in shape, then I'll go look at it. No. Keith's out there looking at it when it's a mud pit. You know, he is. I saw him. So Kevin Davis checking in from the Wayne County Fair in Wayne, Nebraska. Randy Barker says, yes, sir. Tina Berger and Eric Berger checking in from Wilbur, Nebraska. PJ Video checking in from Manila, Iowa, where you'll be on Saturday night. Mike, Manila's
PJ's hometown. Yeah, we're looking forward to the Thunder by the Tracks, I think they call that one. So hoping not to get any four-wheelers or side-by-sides stuck in the medians or the right-of-way out there. And, last year we had a little, we were a little mud bogging, hoping that, no run-ins with that. Good show, really fun show. Live super stocks are going to be going down the track up there. So they're always a good ones to put on a show. So coming out, check us out in Manila and live stream, Whitewright, or go to Whitewright and live stream Manila. There's no bad way to go pulling.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Whitewright's going to be a big deal this year. We're gonna put some butts and some seats down there. The folks in Dallas and surrounding communities are going to support this event, and yeah, they're going to be overwhelmed. Jim Schwartzman from Tongi, Kansas says Outlaws got it going on. Heck yeah. Richard Holbert watching from Brown City, Michigan. Love watching Bulls. Have a friend. B. Pullen Shock Treatment Truck.
Sure.
Dave Strauss checking in from Montgomery City, Missouri. Case Conover from Lytle, Texas. Watching Full Pull Live this week. Wait a minute. Case, are you not coming to Whitewright? I mean, you're in.
That's Texas. What I was wondering. Maybe he's going to watch Manila. He's going to go to Whitewright. Maybe. He's going to have Manila on his phone. He's going to have them both going at the same time.
And Mark Ham going to miss Manila this weekend. What's up with that? That makes no sense. So we're through the comments. Folks, keep putting the comments in there and let us know where you're watching from. If you're going to one of the pools this weekend, whether it be Manila or Whitewright, Texas, we're going to go ahead and bring on our guests, our first guests, the promoters from Whitewright, Texas. Let's bring on Preston Collins and Cody Lee. I think Cody Lee might have Doug Voth with him.
It looks that way.
Unfortunately, he might have Doug Voth with him. So, how's it going, guys?
Good, Doug. It's going good.
Preston, where in the heck are you, buddy? You're always on the road. What's going on?
I'm west of San Antonio today. I had to go down here to take care of some business. I'm headed back to Odessa to grab some things and headed out to Whitewright in the morning.
10-4. Then you're in Whitewright for the week, right?
For the week, yes. I'll be there out. Doug and Cody. Cody's been there for probably a week now, and I'm going to head over there tomorrow to help them out. They pretty much got it lined out, though. They've been doing a heck of a job.
The weather forecast looks amazing for the weekend, guys. It looks 93 for a high. Are you kidding me? In Texas?
Hey, Preston, we've been carrying your load over here.
He's out trying to make some money to pay for that stuff.
I got Cody and Doug spending all the money while I'm over here working.
No, seriously, the weather forecast looks amazing. Way cooler than last year, but 93 for a high, 75 for a low overnight. We ought to pack this place in this weekend, guys.
I believe so.
Yeah, we brought in some more bleachers, and Doug's been doing a heck of a job on filling all the gaps in over there. We're always shooting everything off of the group text, or calling each other saying, hey, you've done this, you've done that. Making sure we got everything covered as well as we can from a puller's point of view.
Yeah, and the fans there. I mean, Whitewright always draws the fans out, but you guys have gone above and beyond with the advertising this year. I mean, we're reaching out to communities even farther out than we have in the past with this pool. You guys might be overwhelmed at the gate this year. I mean, are you guys ready for this? Cody, Doug?
Well, great. Having a hard time hearing you, Cody.
Oh, really? He said we've been doing a lot of work. We actually had some people come in and spray with mosquito stickers, fire ants, and trying to get the facility ready for others, and so everybody's comfortable being here. You know what I'm saying?
Still having a hard time hearing you. I
Yeah,
don't know. Elon's not working for you today.
that was a little choppy.
Audio issues, but you can tell all we need to do is just see to kind of get a vibe on things. It's sunny skies and it's, things are looking great right there in front of the Texas Bullwhip Bullbuster in the background. Hey, that's enough right there to make me want to go out there and check things out. Yeah, give us a little shot of what we got going on here. Ron, Texas was my pick to click in Donaldson this past weekend. Didn't get the job done. Whitewright, maybe the hometown state's going to be where they bring home the gold one way or another.
Yeah, it looks good. We're excited. The track looks great. We put a lot of work into it this year. The weather, like you said, is fantastic. Our marketing's going great. We're excited. I think there's going to be a lot of great pullers out here, and anybody in this area that wants to see a great pull with some of the best pullers in the country, they need to show up to Whitewright this weekend.
I agree with you 100%. It's going to be a huge turnout. The advertising has gone above and beyond what we've normally seen there. And the weather forecast looks amazing. I mean, last year when I was down there, I think it was 100. During the day, it was just straight out 100, and with high humidity. And now we're talking, 7, 8 degrees cooler. Night temperatures being perfect. Humidity being low. I mean, that's going to draw some people out. And in Texas, with my experience in Whitewright and Lufkin, is the fans will show up at 3:30 p.m. at a 7 p.m. start, and they're just claiming their seats, and they'll sit there all afternoon in that sun to make sure they get their seats, which is crazy. And we've got pulling fans in Texas, so with the weather being this great, man, it's going to be Katie bar the door. You guys are going to have a ton of people in there. Are you ready?
A lot of new people have been reaching out. A lot of old people that's been, it's been a tradition for them for years. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be really cool who we crown, the Texas Outlaws with the belt buckles and the awards we're giving away. You really, really got a nice piece to win on top of some really nice coolers coming. The awards that we're giving away are definitely going to be once in a lifetime deal. It's something to be proud of and something definitely to fight over, and not necessarily fight over, but definitely be competitive over. I think we're really proud of what we're doing.
Preston, you don't have to single out people like Doug Voth when you say old people, so we know what you're talking about, and we lost them just now. We lost their feed, but oh wow, that's like messages from deep out of space.
Log back in. I don't know what's going on.
Preston, you were talking about some of the awards that are going out this weekend. Let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, you guys wanted to add a little bit of extra something, because this is a pull in Texas. You guys have put this pull on. So you got a belt buckle idea. You're going to give away
some custom
a unique
themed, outlaw buckles. Did you get that email, Ron? Can you pull that up?
I don't have it yet.
From Haley.
Maybe we'll post that tomorrow. Did she send that to me this afternoon?
She may have sent it. I know she sent it to me. Let me see if I can forward that to you right quick.
Y'all are giving away a belt on top of payout money. You're giving away a belt buckle that's unique to this event. And each night the winners will get this belt buckle, which is something different than your average trophy. You know what I mean? And I love it. And then the overall award, kind of like the Rock at Rock Valley, the Thunderbolt at Wisner. You guys are giving away the Gunslinger Award, which is a special one-off cooler from Frosted Frog Coolers with the Texas flag in the background, the silhouette of the state of Texas in the background, the class name, and the pullers are going to love that. I mean, they're going to keep those coolers at home and say, "This is my trophy for winning overall at Whitewright, Texas."
They're definitely going to have some bragging rights, and that's going to be hopefully something in the future to come back for. Coming for the Belco, coming for the cooler, um, and in the future with the more sponsors we get, and the bigger we grow this, we hope to start packing the cash into some of these classes too to really sway some of these pullers to come in here. And we may, push the dates up a week. I think last weekend we didn't have any pulls. Was that correct?
Last weekend, what was going on? Well, we had a pool this
Yeah.
last weekend, but
But the weekend before, yeah, there was nothing on the outlaw schedule. That was when the pulling world kind of looked over to eastern Iowa.
Yeah.
Was all that was happening, but none in our calendar at the moment.
Well, I mean, we just got to look at that and see if it makes sense to move it up. We were just talking about it a few weeks ago, and it may not. We may leave it exactly where it's at. We just want to try to get all the pullers we can, and give everybody a chance to come to Whitewright and enjoy this Texas weather and this Texas dirt. I think we're gonna have a heck of a track. Cody, Doug's been working really hard on this track all week. They've obviously, whenever you make some changes, it's going to get better or worse. And I don't think we had some problems last year, and I wasn't there at this track. This is all feedback I'm getting, and Cody's in the dirt work business. His family's in the dirt work business, and they brought some clay in, so he's really excited. Cody's putting some high dollar vehicles on that track, so everybody should be pretty proud of what he's doing, and I think we're going to have a good horsepower track, a smooth track, and we definitely have the equipment there to do whatever we want. And Doug and Cody and all of us have done a heck of a job to get whatever we need at this pool. Yeah, of course, we've all been a little nervous of, how much money are we going to lose on this deal, but I think we've been more nervous of making sure we have a great pool for our pullers, regardless of that. And hopefully the fans come out and we can make this happen, do a repeat on it. uh, Everything for every one of us has been a learning curve for this. It's been a heck of a ride over the past few weeks, and each day leading up to the pool gets a little busier, especially the social media stuff. Uh, but we're ready. We're ready for this.
yeah, 3 4 months ago we were talking Lindsay, Texas, and then when we found out we weren't coming back to Whitewright, you and Cody got together and like you guys understand the importance of Whitewright, Texas, because you guys and even Cody sent me some pictures of an old Ford pickup he pulled there years ago, like in the 80s or something at Whitewright. And Whitewright means something to a lot of people. You're talking maybe a 200-mile radius around Whitewright or Dallas, Texas,
It
and it's legendary. It has meaning to it. So
it
you
is.
guys,
It is.
kudos
It's
to you
it's
guys
it's
for keeping
tradition, and
going.
they're telling us it's tradition on the interweb, and yeah, Cody did. That's where he started, and that pool really holds to his heart. He's the one that reached out to me on this and asked if I wanted to partner up with him, and if I was real nervous and hesitant to say yes, but knowing the guy that Cody is, and then thank God, Doug is helping us with this thing just as probably more than me and Cody. He's involved more than me and Cody, but if it wasn't for all three of us, I don't know if we could do it again. If anybody tries to put an event of this magnitude on, there better be at least three musketeers in it.
Yeah,
You're gonna need help.
it's
But
a lot
yeah,
of work.
this pool was. This is where Cody started. Cody, was mud racing here. The first time Cody ever been down a track, and was this track. And I don't mean to speak for Cody, but hopefully he gets back on here. But this is really he called and said, "Hey, let's do it at Whitewright. Let's the track, the fans, the way the place is laid out. It just made more sense."
Yeah. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Of course, Mike's going to Manila. Manila's a great pool, Mike.
Yep.
Uh, you've been there. You're going to have fun. But man, Texas, buddy, things are more fun in Texas. I don't know why, but they just are.
It's
You
heating
know.
up, but it's not going to be too hot to have fun. We're gonna be giving away a lot of stuff, a lot of cool things, and I'm looking forward to it. That these pullers are really going to be happy with this.
Will we see any vintage pulling iron go down the track? I mean, was it last year and the year before? We saw the old Mother Goose truck make an exhibition pass. Is there anything about, some old iron coming out to let the fans reminisce?
Possibly. I know we got somewhat of some exhibition passes for say, but I'm not sure for sure on that truck. It's myself. My truck has been to Whitewright. The last time I went to Whitewright myself was in probably 2010 or 11. I've been back into pulling for roughly 3 years now. We took life happens and we took a hiatus and started a company and family and whatnot. And 3 years ago we were kicking around, hey, this is kind of itching a little bit. We need to do this or forever hang it up. And we talked about it, getting back into it, and we put it off and talked about getting into it. And finally we bit the bullet, and we were going to put our toe in the water when instead we jump in head first. And it's been fun. I miss the people. I miss the pullers and the people more than anything. It's a family out there, and I really, really enjoy the people.
At Whitewright, probably more so than at some of the other pools that we have. We have the Outlaw family, but at Whitewright, everybody congregates in one area after the pull is over, which is really cool. And everybody hangs out for a little while. Then they kind of slowly will disseminate back to their haulers and such. But, that little covered area, behind the starting line there, you're going to have everybody's going to congregate there after the pull. And people that don't normally pull the Outlaws come to Whitewright and they see that. And it's like, this is super cool that everybody hangs out like this. So we haven't seen Cody or Doug. There they are. Let's get them back on here. Here they go. We lost Preston. Cody, we lost Preston. It's all up to you now, buddy.
Well, I guess my turn. I don't really know what happened. There's several people here, and they all logged on. I think there was just static from the other phones sitting around. So, but it's working now. I've been able to hear you guys. I tell you what, we appreciate Outlaw coming down and helping us promote this event. We're super excited about it. We're real optimistic about the number of the pullers, people we're hearing from, that we're gonna have some big classes and big turnouts.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the biggest show, the best show ever in Whitewright in 2025, guys. I'm super excited. Mike's not even going, and he's beside himself. Mike, how excited?
I've never been to the state of Texas. I've never seen a pull in Texas, and all I can say is I hope that Whitewright continues for a long, long time, because it kills me that I haven't. I was talking to Cameron Neves or Cody. It might have been you up in Iowa. And someone pointed out, it's the second or third most populous state. There's buku people there, and there's about 7 major pulls in it. So the way that you just have this supply and demand, the fans and the setting is huge, so it's something I want to sink my teeth into and see firsthand. I'll be live streaming it, but, I got to get down there in person someday.
Well, we look forward to seeing you when you get here. Hopefully we can get this deal worked out. We can keep it going. But at the end of the day, we're working on some deals. But, I guess like Donald Trump said, there's a deal out there. We just ain't closed it. There's a deal out there. We want a deal. We think there's a deal, but there's not a deal yet.
Heck yeah. Well,
But
guys,
we're definitely this year. So we're excited about it. We're having a big show.
well, where did both go? Cody, I mean,
he's got his phone going too, and every time he gets close to me, it cuts our phones
yeah,
off.
it's crazy how once he
Turn your phone
disappears,
off.
once he
Like
disappears,
internet issues more than Zook Fukerberg. It seems like every
Come
time
on.
he's on here, there's something bumping. So he's bad luck on the.
I
on the
think
old
he's
internet.
got like aliens are tracking his phone or something.
No, it's
I think they're.
I heard he had a face for radio, but I didn't realize this.
Well, Zuckerberg, you don't like me, I'm telling you.
It's because you labeled yourself Doug, and Facebook's trying to track you. You got to label it as Zook, so that way you don't get caught so easily.
Hey, Ron,
Yeah.
when you come up, bring Donald Nelson a steak. All these guys hot dogs. Dustin done left all this stuff.
You got the steak guy to your right, buddy. The steak guy's right there with you.
Well, I heard you bringing them.
I can't keep them fresh. I don't have a good enough
we had
cooler.
steak in Florida, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. We did.
Don't say you ain't got no steaks. All these guys hot dogs.
Oh, come on.
That's
now.
what he said. Dustin brought them all home. So
I bet Cody's got a few in his cooler. I bet you.
There may be a few in here. I got you one ready to go, Ron.
I know
Yeah.
where I'm going. I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
I ain't seen none yet.
All right, guys. What time do the
All right.
gates open on Friday? What time are the gates open?
You know, we got official opening time for the gates at 5, but I'm sure people are going to be here by 3:30 or 4, and we're going to be selling them tickets. You know, if they're at the gate and they want to come sit in the sun, and
You ain't gonna
we're going to let
stop
them in.
them coming in.
Yeah, we're going to let them in.
All right, so gates officially open at 5, but if you want to come a little bit earlier, yeah, we might let you come in. But yeah, 7:30 start time both nights, right?
Yeah, both nights, and we're going to have an open pit this year from 6 until 7 p.m.
6 to 7 open pits, no extra charge on the pit.
No extra charge this year. We want to get people involved and let them have a
Sweet.
great time. And if we can repeat this process, bring them back next year.
Sweet. I love it.
We got a lot more lights in the pits this year than I think they've had in the past. It ought to be a lot easier.
Good deal.
Gonna have some ice on pad. I don't know if we'll have enough ice for everybody, but we'll have some ice. Some more food vendors. What do you got? 8 vendors coming? Food vendors, Cody?
Yeah, we're at 8 or 9 now. Yeah, it's filled up.
All right, so the chances of getting a street taco down there, what's the chances?
I'd say they're pretty high. I'd say they're pretty high. And if they don't have one that can stand, I'll be firing them up over here on the Blackstone on the camper.
You know where I want to be after the pool, brother. You know where I'm going to be.
Oh
Heck
yeah.
There'll be some music playing.
We're
too.
excited. Thank you guys. It's been a lot of work, but with Doug and Preston helping, it's definitely taking the load, and we split it up. So
That's gonna be
we're excited about it.
sponsors.
Good deal. We're looking forward to it. Everybody's looking forward to it. This is going to be a big deal this year, guys. Thank
Can
you
we
so
give
much
a-
for coming on the
Can we give
show.
a shout out to sponsors?
Heck yeah. Throw 'em out there.
Top Notch Turf. Man, we got to thank those guys, Asco Equipment, CMB Racing, and Weezer Pulling. All those guys has come through for us and really gave us a big hit. We couldn't do it without them.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Sponsors rule, man. You can't do things without sponsors. And yeah, we're gonna pump those sponsors up this weekend too.
Yeah,
So
man.
thank you guys.
Thank
You
you.
bet. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We will see you guys. I'll see y'all on Thursday. How about that? And Preston, be careful out there in your travels, buddy.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you,
All right.
guys.
See you guys in a couple days. Mike, you still there?
Oh yeah, I'm good. Did I lock up for a second?
Yeah, I did for a second. I did too many
No.
things at one time, and I think it didn't like it. So I'm gonna go back to the comments here. Case Conover said they're in the middle of Bail. Hey, Bailing. Jonathan Stevenson says, watching from Bolus, Nebraska. PJ Minio says, you guys are awesome. PJ, you're awesome, brother. Randy Barker just says, oh.
Fair enough.
Tony Booth says, should be a heck of a show. This is the first class from putting this show together. Okay. Yeah. Whitewright's going to be huge. Manila's going to be huge as usual. Wait a minute. Evil Rod Farva says Fort Worth. Watching from Fort Worth. Can't wait for Whitewright. Heck yes. Tell your friends. Tell your neighbors. Tell everybody. Tell your relatives. It's going to be the best show of the year this summer. 816 Motorsports. Esco. That's like slang.
Is that like let's go? Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go, man. Let's go. It's like Jeet. Anyone ever ask you, Ron? You ever heard someone say Jeet? It all comes one word. Did you eat? Becomes Jeet. Did you eat? Yeah. Let's go.
No, you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we've got another poll this weekend, and we want to bring this gentleman on right now from Manila, Iowa. Jeff Severson, what's up, buddy?
Hi, guys.
How's it going?
Well, Mother Nature and I teamed up on this thing. We worked on the track yesterday morning, and yesterday afternoon it started raining, and Mother Nature's doing her job. We got about an inch in the last 24 hours here, so we should be in good shape.
They're saying you don't have to water the track as much as you normally would have to.
Unbelievable. But last year we didn't put one drop on it. Mother Nature took care of it all. That's never happened before. I don't want to cut it that close this year. I won't have any problem putting some on if I have to.
I remember 2 or 3 years ago, like bringing out a bulldozer and like taking like a foot of dirt out of the arena there to have a pull.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. One of our neighbors west of the track is they're good friends of mine, and they've been real good to us. And Shane showed up. I called him that morning and I said, "Hey, we might need your help today." This is our 15th year of pulling in Manila, 14th with the Outlaws, and we've been threatened rain out practically every year. We've gotten down to the last. We kind of save our light limited pro class till last, because that's what Luke and I pull in. And one year Kurt came up to us. We were running for points, and there was probably 6 tractors left in the class, and it was starting to threaten pretty hard. So we hooked, and Luke got to the end of the track and it dumped. I said, "Get that thing in the trailer now." So, but yeah, we haven't ever had to cancel one, but we're hoping that doesn't happen this year. But the forecast looks like Friday, Saturday looks good. So
you guys always have a really good crowd there that comes back year after year. The rain doesn't seem to phase them. Even the year that it was raining and the radar said it wasn't raining, and we were like, "What is this? What's going on?" And we still had a pool there. It doesn't. The crowd, the folks there are like, "We're going to a tractor pull, rain or shine." So,
well, I remember Kurt coming up to me that year that we had the bulldozer. We pulled 3,200 RPM tractors, and I think we pulled 6 or 7 of them. Yeah. And there wasn't a cloud hardly in the sky, and drops the size of 5-gallon buckets started coming down.
The sun was shining too.
It was, and it took the track away from us. Ended up, like I say, my buddy Shane came with the bulldozer, and he peeled off the bad stuff, and it probably took an hour, a little better. And Kurt came up to me before we were just ready to get started again, and he said, "I can't believe it." He said, "Only in Manila." I said that the crowd all stayed. In fact, more came. So it was, we were fortunate. We've usually have a very good turnout.
So give us some info. When can the people get in the gate? What time does the show start? Alcohol policy, etc.
Show starts at 6 o'clock sharp, and registration for the tractors and trucks starts at 4. I'm pretty sure gates open at 5.
Okay.
So that's kind of the layout of that.
Okay, so green flag drops at 6, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We've got 7 classes again this year.
1 track, 7 classes.
Yep.
And classes, can you remember the classes? I mean,
yeah, we've got of course we got the light supers,
Alki super.
Yep. Light limited pros, super farm, natural aspirated 2-wheel drives, light limited mods, pro stock pickups, I think is what we've got. How many is that?
Oh man, you're shy
and
one.
4 ones and the limited pro
And the 4 ones.
excuse me.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
You did good. You did good, Jeff. I could have done that.
So what's neat about that, if the trend continues based on what we've seen, pro stock 4-wheel drive trucks, 17 to 20 trucks have come out every single time. Light limited pro stocks, we're in that 10 to 15 range. Super farm 10 to 15 range. Limited pro 10 to 12. This has potential to be a 75 plus hook show. I mean, this has potential. 6 o'clock is a very good start time. Because this thing could be a pretty big deal.
As Ron well knows, probably we're okay with 1 track and having a little bit longer show. The fire department, one year we rolled through them. We used to have 2 tracks, and we went back to 1 here several years ago. and the fire department's okay with a little longer show because especially that show that got rain delayed that we had the dozer out on. Fire chief told me, he said next year we're getting those roller deals, that they slide boxes down. He said that way we get one of them, we can get the beer out of the trailer faster. Yeah, they sold out of beer, sold out of food that year. So that's big to them guys. That's how they make their money too. So the Outlaws will do what the Outlaws do best. They will keep their show rolling. 7 classes, even with big numbers, it won't be extremely, unless Mother Nature steps in, but it won't be extremely long.
Yeah, so. It's a good pool. I've announced it several times. The crowd is there for the duration.
Yep.
And as long as there's pulling going on that track, they're going to be there. And
we usually have, like I say, I guess the hometown boy is what we are. We try to have our class towards the end, and then we finish the show off with a few local semis, and people like to stick around for that. So it's always kind of a show topper. They want to stick around and watch that too. So,
Mike, have you been to Manila? Have you?
I was. Yep. I ran starting line camera up there last year. Really nice bread and butter show. I'd forgotten about the semis. Now that's kind of the way it was presented to me, almost kind of a grudge match. Maybe a couple guys that know each other, and it's good old grassroots style pulling. Hey, I bet mine can pull more than yours, kind of just the way it got started. So is that kind of become a tradition with these guys?
Yeah,
how are they shaking out over the years? Who's winning?
Well, those two guys have been pretty competitive all through the years, and one of them's got a buddy out of Nebraska that called me. Oh, this has been 2 years ago when he was there. He called me, I bet 15 times just to make sure that we're still having them. Make sure that it wasn't rained out. He said, I'll be there if it is, I said, well, you're gonna have to take a chance coming over because I can't guarantee Mother Nature.
Yeah.
So, but he showed up and pulled and he didn't beat his buddy from over here, but that's between them two. We'll let them duke it out next time.
No, it's a fun way to put a cherry on top of a very good show. Another thing that you guys kind of mentioned, I remember it being a crowd that's very responsive. You'll get those crowds, and Ron, this as well as anyone. Some of them just they're there to watch the action, and you don't get much of a reaction out of them. They're the stoic kind of crowds, and then there's the crowds that on the big run and everything, they're gonna let the driver hear about it and come to their feet. I remember Manila being one of those very enthusiastic, very engaging crowds. To me, that makes for a fun atmosphere for pullers and fans alike.
Yeah. We've way back in my high school days, we've had very good football teams back in the day, and it was just Manila then. Now we're in with 2 other towns, which that's happening across the world here. But I remember Manila fans are kind of they like to stand. We didn't have a whole lot of bleachers in our football field, so they stood on a side hill. Well, they carried that over to once we started pulling down there where we're at. We have 300 people at least standing by the beer stand on both sides of the track. And it's just become the big screen is a huge hit because it's a social event for those people. Some people, they show up and they don't watch it live. They watch it on the big screen afterwards or whatever, the replay, and they're visiting and having a great time. And we like our time of the year that we hook. Everybody's getting, everything's planted, and most of the beans are getting sprayed around, most of the beans sprayed around here lately in the last few days, and everybody's looking to go let their hair down, and that's kind of why we've had a pretty good success.
Well, Jeff, I know you guys are going to do a great job this weekend. Mike's going to be calling the show this weekend, and you guys always have a great show, a good crowd there. Looking forward to it. The folks watching on the live stream are going to have to make that choice. Do I watch Whitewright? Do I watch Manila? So but the thing is, they can watch both. They just have to watch one live, and they can go back and watch the other because they have a subscription. So
yeah, no, we're excited for this year. We're excited for next year and beyond. So just to let everybody know that the future is bright and pulling in Manila, Iowa. It's going to continue for a long time.
all right, buddy. Well, we're looking forward to seeing it, and you're going to have a lot of hooks up there. I know it. You know, Mike was talking about that Pro Stock 4x4 class, Light Limited Pro. Always a lot of hooks in those classes. So going to be a long night. You're going to sell a lot of beer. You're going to have a good time, and we're looking forward to seeing it. Jeff, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you much.
Right.
Jeff Severson from Manila, Iowa, where Mike will be on Saturday night. Mike, are you excited?
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it's you know, you come home from a pull and you're a little tired and you think, man, what a great weekend, what a long weekend. All you really need is about 12 to 24 hours before that bug starts buzzing around and you're ready to do it again. So yeah, we're going to be well rested. Obviously, you know, as you can see in my bed away from bed, but no, we'll be ready to rock and roll. I've never not had fun at a pull. Manila is one of those crowds I'm looking forward to interacting with because I like an engaging crowd. I like a responsive crowd. We're going to have a good time up there.
Well, I will tell you one thing about Manila. If it's raining, that stress you feel because you're with the organization, like, we're going to have this. Is it going to happen? You know, are they going to call it? They're going to have it. Okay.
Yeah.
If it's raining at Manila, yeah, they're going to have it. As long as there's a gap in the rain, they're going to have that pull. So they're going to find a way to make that happen. So no worries there. So just forget that stress. But a lot of comments coming in. We got one more guest on here tonight, Mike, and I'm going to let you take the reins here.
Yeah.
So we got him on specifically because we got the spotlight shine directly on this guy. So you go ahead.
Sure. Welcome to the stage. Speaking of the limited pro stock class, it's going to be up there in Manila. Roger Ruwe, One Mean Farmer. How are we doing today, sir? Thanks for joining us.
Oh.
Ron, do you have audio on your side?
I have nothing. Are you on mute? Roger, check and make sure there's not a line through your microphone there. You there?
I think we're close. I can hear something in the background.
I hear bacon sizzling in the background or something.
I do too.
You there, Roger?
Roger's giving it a try.
Trevor Humphreys is asking, is Whitewright 2 tracks or one? It is 2 tracks with the big screen, Trevor. 2 tracks with the big screen.
Roger, we have full faith in you with this audio. He pilots a limited pro stock. He can handle 9,500 pound 4.1 turbocharged limited pro. He can handle the old iPhone too, I bet you.
Yeah.
There he is. We knew he could get it figured out.
Hear me?
Uh-oh.
Now we've got audio. We might not have internet. Say something to the folks, Roger. Let us know if we can hear you.
How's it going tonight, guys?
Hey, there, we're perfect. Going well. Roger, you are our featured puller on social media this week for the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association on a little program we call When the Smoke Clears. Now, I sent you a questionnaire a couple of weeks ago. You responded quickly and gave us that biography. Ron kind of came up with the idea somewhere along the lines where we've been doing this. We've been doing this a little over a year, and Ron said, let's just have the drivers on themselves. They can tell us the story. Have you seen any of these before? Have you seen the videos and the hero cards floating around?
Yeah, I've seen the videos and the spotlights that you've been doing, Mike, and stuff. And it's good that the fans get to kind of see who we are beyond underneath the helmet, you know, where nobody gets to see us as much as normal. So good time.
I realized when I started announcing that I had kind of made the mistake of I'd followed tractors and trucks my whole life. You know, everybody knows, what the River Rat looks like or what the Texas Bullwhip looks like. And people would say, oh, well, go talk to so-and-so. And it would dawn on me, I don't know the driver. You know, I watched the vehicle for 20 years, but do we know the driver as well? So we like to kind of pull back the curtain, but we like to highlight you guys as well. Use this technology. We're going to go ahead and take a look at your When the Smoke Clears video. So featuring you over the past 1 to 2 seasons. Let's take a quick look at it. When the smoke clears, you'll be looking at an outlaw, and the outlaw you'll be looking at this week, Roger Ruwe, One Mean Farmer. There's the old Limited Pro doing its thing. I don't know what I like better, the white wall tires where it actually says One Mean Farmer, or the red headlights that come on under the grill. Tell us about when you kind of put those unique touches on this tractor when you jump classes.
I don't know how we really did. The white letters came from back when I used to stock car race, and I would put the letters on just to be a little novel. And it, when I quit doing that, then it kind of carried over to, a guy that helps me a little bit on sponsorship. He came up with the idea. He goes, "Hey, let's try putting them on that big tires." And
Yeah.
we did, and it kind of stuck. So now we keep it on every tire we have.
Let's go back a little ways, Roger. And you mentioned stock car racing, and we've chatted about this before, but your motorsports career started in stock car racing, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I really only dabbled with, only thing I ever came across tractor pulling was county fair and that kind of stuff, and I've got friends that did it. And then I just decided I was getting a little long in the tooth for stock car racing, and figured I'd try sport of tractor pulling, and here we are. I think I started back in, I think it was about 2014 is when we started tractor pulling.
Long in tooth in circle track racing means you just don't want to, you're not really want to fight anymore, right? Is that what that means?
Yeah.
I've heard this a little bit that it's easier on the it's easier on your ego and maybe your knuckles a little bit or whatever, that people get along very friendly at a pulling track. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, they are a real good group of people at tractor pulling, and ever since we jumped in with the Outlaws, made good friends. Your last guest, Jeff, and we've become really, really good friends over the years, and PJ, of course, and
Yep.
Enjoy most of the guys that are out there doing the same thing we're doing.
And we're talking about circle track racing. That's where the name One Mean Farmer came from, right? Tell that story, if you would.
Yeah, when I was running modifieds, which is open-wheeled stock cars, I was doing pretty good one year, and they put a bounty on my head, basically, because we had been beaten. And so we finally, after I think it was 15, 16 straight races we won, the announcer, kept saying after pull, about who's going to knock the One Mean Farmer off of here, or the One Mean Farmer is moving to the lead, and it just kind of stuck. And so there we go. It's been that way for, since 2000, probably. We've kind of carried that name through on stock car racing. And then when we started tractor pulling, kind of went with it.
So long before the tractor was built, you already knew what was going on the side shields. You knew what it was going to be called.
Yeah. The other ones were kind of derogatory, so we figured we better.
That's as close to politically correct as we get. It's one mean farmer. I love announcing your class because I always tell the fans, we've got a bunch of disgruntled agriculturalists in this class because we have one mean farmer, and then usually later on or before you there is the mean farmer. And the irony in that statement is lost on no one because you and Dave, are two of the nicest people you'll talk to out in the pits once you get to know you. So, but some frustrated farmers in the 4-1 class.
Well, if you had to own one, you'd understand why we're frustrated.
Let's take a look at your biography. I think that you got it back to me almost as soon as I asked you to fill it out. It's got all the nitty gritty in it and all the stories we want to hear. So this week's featured puller, Roger Ruwe, calls it One Mean Farmer. Limited Pro stock. It's a 2018 Case IH Optum. Been pulling for 11 years. First hook was right there in Manila, Iowa. So is this one kind of special to you, going back where things started for you as a pulling team?
Yes, either special or why in the heck did I do it? But yeah, it is.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of we enjoy going back to Manila. I mean, it's always a good track, and of course, like I said, Jeff and them guys are good friends of ours, and they put on a great show. And he works extremely hard with the little town of Manila, and does a lot of back-breaking work that people don't see, and he doesn't take any credit for it, but he works pretty hard at putting that thing on.
Yeah.
It's an excellent pull. I described it as a bread and butter show, and that's something I kind of want to rephrase that. What I mean is this is a pull that it checks all the boxes. It's one that seems like it doesn't miss, and we're definitely looking forward to being there again this Saturday. Points Championships 2021 Light Limited Pro Stock Champion. When did we make the jump? Was that the last year we were in LLP before we went to the 4-1 class?
Well, the ongoing joke was we were always gonna, if we ever won a championship, because we let it get away a couple times in the years past, and I said, well, if I ever win it, I'll just get out of the class because we probably need to quit. Well, then I decided, well, I'm going to jump up and do 4-1, and it kind of took off from there. And we're having a good time. Like I said, the guys in the 4-1, especially like Dave Novak, him and I like to razz each other a little bit, and and stuff. But for the most part, everybody's good guys to talk to, and it's ultra competitive, of course. So, and we just figured after Light Limited Pro, we kind of mastered it, and it was kind of getting not so fun anymore. And we just said, well, let's try something new. And well, here we are, back to square one.
Need a new challenge.
Definitely an ultra competitive class in the 4-1s, with the Outlaw group, some of the toughest 4-1s that you're going to find in the country.
Yeah.
You said most memorable hook would either be two most memorable hooks. That's always a good sign. Winning both nights in Wisner in 2021 or winning Gordyville 2020. So you were on quite a hot streak there during that time period.
Yeah, we kind of went indoor hooking there and enjoyed that. And like I said, I think the first indoor hook we ever went to was a Cowtown Showdown down in Kansas City, which was amazing. We had a great time. And then, of course, Gordyville, and then Chipshawana, and we were lucky enough to be able to win all three of them, and just said, well, I need to do something. The next one I want to do is still the farm machinery show. I'd like to test my feet in that water at least one time to see what it's like.
Yeah, you guys were in Light Limited Pro, 8,500 Light Limited Pro. You guys were the team to beat. And you went out on top and said, all right, let's step it up. Let's go up to the 4-1 class. Just kind of what are the challenges you've come upon with the 4-1 class that maybe you didn't expect?
Well, adjusting to the horsepower, it actually, they seem a little bit easier to drive just because you have so much power versus the Light Limited Pros where you just gotta wind the heck out of them little motors to get them going, and you're, under horsepower a little bit. I mean, it's still a lot of horsepower there. It's just that not the same, and finding the balance and all that. And, I've got a great crew. The two guys that follow me around, they know their business, and that's why we've been so successful. I just the monkey hitting the throttle, so they tell me what to do.
So the Rue crew is who you're referring to here. Who makes up the Rue crew?
We've got several people. John Strand, which most people see coming around. He's my, as I called, he does dirt working for a living. He looks like a bulldozer. He's just a short guy. And then Steve Satry, he pulled two-wheel drives years ago, and he's still trying to put a two-wheel drive together to modified to come out someday. And that's, other ones behind the scenes and stuff. They're my main guys, and they travel all over with me, and we have a good time, and they're good at what they do. That's for sure.
Definitely. When we asked you about your pulling hero, talking about people that you work with and you're thankful for and you look up to, great answer here. Don Masterson, you said I was able to sit down with him and his son. Very, very nice people and down to earth. Legendary Don Masterson. If you want to talk anything about pulling and black smoke, that's someone that, had you had the chance to speak with, would have been a great opportunity, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. And Kevin, he was up here visiting some friends too, and I had the pleasure of sitting down and having cocktails with him and his lovely wife, and we just, was very entertaining listening to him, especially Don, because he knows everybody, and he was so, has been everywhere, and he paid attention. I didn't know if he would know who I was, but when we started talking, he still paid attention to absolutely every class of tractor pulls that were out there, and he knew what was going on all the time.
Yeah, he certainly, I'm sure, pulling hero to many out there. And you talk about, getting to Louisville one day, and they call that, the house that Masterson built, their success there being as good as anyone to have ever pulled in that building. So good choice when you talk about your pulling hero. Day job said you're a farmer. Well, of course, one mean farmer and a personal property appraiser. But the best part about being an outlaw, you said, the outlaws aren't only competitors, they're also a family, always willing to help if they need something. Ron, I bet that's the most common answer we get. We talk about it all the time, and I hope it's a phrase that doesn't get worn out or people don't, kind of undervalue when we say it. But the outlaw family, it's a real thing. What's it mean to you, Roger, just being a part of this great group of people?
Well, they're, everybody you run across, we all come from similar backgrounds, so that's
sure.
That's a but no matter what, if like somebody breaks down, they're going to help. Or even if you break down on the weekend and got to pull in a few days and somebody's got a part, they'll go over to you, or we'll run it to them, and just to get going. And there's never, too much or any animosity among any of the guys, because we're just out here showing off anyway. It's not like it's life or death for any, for anybody.
Yeah, a little pride on the line, but yeah, it's awesome to see pullers helping pullers in their time of need. When they're in a staging area and the tractor won't start or what have you. That's awesome to see. I love to see that. So Kayla Tuma is asking, will we see you in Ashton next weekend?
There's a good possibility. It all depends on
what happens on this Saturday, right?
Yep. Yeah, what happens on Saturday, and if the two old saddle tramps are not busy and want to go with me out there. So, it's not too terrible far for us, but, far enough. But we always like going to all the hooks just so we can learn a little more about the tractor.
Awesome.
Well,
Awesome.
so that's your When the Smoke Clears featured driver. Roger, you'll have a hero card along with your biography that you sent us on the Outlaw Facebook page. That'll be posted tomorrow. And then the following day for all the folks to watch the rest of the week are those awesome highlight videos. Big thank you to Mackenzie Teeting and the Beer Money Pulling Team, folks up there in Richland Center, Wisconsin, for always being our tech support. They're the creators of it. They make those videos, so that will be on the internet. So folks, be sure you take a look at that, share that around. Big thank you to you, Roger, for filling that out and letting fans see the pullers, with the curtain pulled back and outside of the roll cage, so to speak.
Yeah, it's a pleasure talking to you guys always. And one thing is, I always encourage the fans, just come up and talk to the drivers, the little guys and gals, where we get more excited about that. None of us are scared to put them on top of a tractor, and we're not worried about it getting scratched or dirty or anything like that. We actually enjoy it because we all have children and grandchildren and stuff, so we enjoy that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And there's a lot of fans out there that are a little hesitant to come up, and like you said, don't hesitate, because pullers love it. And I always encourage people to come up and talk to us announcers too. Like we put our pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else out there does. So, seriously, we're just normal people. So, Roger, continued success. Good luck to you this season. Season looking pretty good to you so far. So. Hope you have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good, my friends. You enjoy the night.
Thanks, Roger.
Thank you much.
Bye.
What a stacked show. A lot of them. Whitewright, Texas, Jeff Severson, Roger, Ruwe, the whole crew. Big show, Ron. That was a fun one.
Yeah, that team was feared in light limited pro. I'm sure there's some light limited pro drivers who are like, yeah, you should go limited pro. Go on, and I'm sure. Yeah. There were some limited pro guys who were like, no, stay down there in light limited pro, but
he glossed over it, but he talked about how tricky it was actually to get the lesser horsepower to the track. He said with the 466 tractors, he had told me last year, he goes, it's almost actually easier with the 640 to put it to the ground, because you're not hunting and searching and playing, throttle catch up and whatnot. You can kind of just let it eat and it's going to take it. So that's fun to look at those little details in pulling.
Yeah, huge show tonight. Thanks to the promoters for coming on. The promoters from Whitewright, Preston Collins, Cody Lee, Doug Voth. Thank you guys for coming on. Thank you, Jeff Severson from Manila, Iowa, coming on, and thank you, Roger Ruwe, for coming on as well. These shows are only going to get better as the summer goes on. I already know there's some people I want to get on here. Some points leaders that we haven't talked to that aren't normally in that position. We want to get those guys on the show as well. So those will be coming up here pretty soon. Cole Lundahl says, next Outlaw show for me will be Concord. This weekend will be over in Whistler for a farm pull with a local one of 4 times. We'll be in Whistler this summer. Wow. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Mike, thank you for doing the When the Smoke Clears. Hope you have a great show at Manila this weekend. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And let's go pulling this weekend. Manila, Iowa, Whitewright, Texas. Let's do it. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central. Thanks for watching.
Grass. Oh, 45 and 86 right now. 345 and 86. Here we go with the Kentuckian. And 8-time points champion just a few years back. Craig Allman, sweet pace. All right, here we go, fans. The truck out of Georgia, the bumper crop. And Cole Altman, once again, that mark to beat 340.42.